Hello again, guys. Right, part 4, and we will get around to breaking down all of these lines on this chart for you, or most of them now, because I've added more since the first part 1. But just wanted to show you a trade I took, very short scalp to that 128 level. I was convinced they would punch through that, and they or at least reach it, because that's where the stops are for the short traders. And then you might remember I mentioned in part 1 the H4 high, which was where I expected price to ultimately go to, and as you can see, it touched it to the pip almost. We're talking about micro pips here, short of that level. That often happens. I think that might be due to spread or something, but the reason I got out when I did is because I did not want to be in a trade at the close of the hour. I always like to be out of the trades, and that's experience, guys. I mean, years and years and years of doing this. They can reverse it, and they have here. Look, just a couple of minutes before the end of the hour, they took it out. But I initially was going to go for an extra few pips, because they will overrun the level to bring in the stops and stuff, because people hide it behind. But I thought, sod it, no. I've been caught in too many times. Like here, for example, if I'd gone for the 28 level, 128 that is, I'd have had to suffer drawdown. And so I just sort of increased the size of this trade. So suppose I got 2 pips for that. If I doubled the size of the trade on there, I actually got 4 pips, and that's how people do this. Billy TT does, and I'm learning all the time, even 15 years into this, from the best. So yeah, all in all, the analysis was correct. So this morning's analysis in part 1 was correct. So I'll show you how I draw all those levels on now then. So finally, you say, I'm sure. So I'll start on the monthly. In fact, this is wrong, this template on here. I'll get rid of that thing. No, sorry, the support. Should have done this before I opened the chart. Don't need that on all the time frames. Just in fact, yeah, I've decided come on, my machine's running slow. Probably means this video will be a bit noisy as well. Just don't need it on the monthly. Okay, close, and come on, catch up machine. Too many windows open probably. There, monthly. So all I want to do is put the levels on where I think they will affect price. The ones above we're not really worried about. In fact, I do need to close some of these charts, so let's close that one. Just running too slowly. Let's close that one. I was doing some analysis on gold. We can close that as well. And back to this chart. So excuse me. Now we know last month was critical, breaking below last month's low, so that needs drawing on there. And the previous month, the highs don't need to worry about, because price is nowhere near those at the moment. This is critical because that's a monthly high, a resistance level, that little green candle there, in my opinion. And if price breaks through that, the next one is critical as well, the red. There'll be bounce points for the price. A lot of people like to use support and resistance at the open and close of the candle, the price pivot zone, some people call it, PPZ. It's too imprecise for me. I like the exact levels, as you saw with that H4. Oops, sorry, my alarm going off telling me to look out for Billy TT's 8:15 break, but I'm not worried about that. I'll watch it after the event, I think. So, and then we're also looking at the histo now, as it's my go-to free indicator that doesn't repaint, that I love. So, and I'm still learning about everything about it, actually. So, down to the daily, I don't think I've missed any. Oh, weekly, that support that created the push up there for on a weekly chart, that would be worth drawing in. There, and the red one before it as well. Remember, these look messy now, but when you're down on that hourly, 5 minute and such like chart, that's the red one there. Just put the low on. So I'm happy. You could go on and on and on. We're bashing into 2 support levels there. We could put them in, excuse me, because price is below them, so they will create a problem. And remember, I also think, or for me, the most recent candles are the most important. So if this gets confusing for you on your own charts, then just get rid of them because they are levels broken. Daily, now we're getting into some serious short-term analysis. We can put trend lines on here, and again, I'm not worried about connecting 3 and all those silly rules that people make. It's the latest level that interests me, so if that pokes through, that will just be a tail on the higher time frame. It's not a tail in fact, but it normally works out that way. By that I mean in fact we can put a long one on that as well. Do that from there to there on that tail, and not really worried about that. If price comes down, that's going to affect it, and as such, when price is falling, you could also put a low on that weekly low there, but we're nowhere near that for scalping. There, and then the daily, as I say, go back to that. We need to mark yesterday's low and high. The red candle there, you can see, because those are very significant. Previous day's high would be good to have in there, and the previous day's low. And yeah, we've got lots of room now to play with. H4, previous H4 candle high, which is there, and the candle before that. See what this one had broken through, and then that all-important high there that we talked about price potentially testing, previous H4, and as you can see at the start of the video I showed you how that went to test that. That's why these levels are so important, guys. It's all about prior levels, and then not forgetting again, of course, all the what the indicator, I nearly said indicators, but what the indicator is telling us. I didn't do that on the daily, but the daily has been turning green, of course. Well, that's that TMT daily thing would have told you that anyway. This isn't, but you haven't got that anyway. But that would that's why I am biased still to short, but only now if this came down with vigor to that 20 level, had a little pullback, and then considered going short. I'm not a top and bottom picker yet. This histo might help us with that, as I mentioned in a previous video, but that's a work in progress, and one I'd really like to kill, if you like. I'd love to be able to pick those tops with precision. So this is also now worth mentioning, this SS support and resistance thing. It is a good indie, you know, it's tried and tested. Well, not classing myself as a good trader, but other traders use it, good traders. Lem, for example, swears by it. Supply and demand. So what's the 15-minute telling us? Well, at this point the 15-minute is telling us we should be looking for longs, but as you know, we've hit massive areas and we've had a good long run out of this, but the Indies are telling me longs are, well, that was the 30-minute. The 15-minute is telling us we're in a retracement now. Not much to say about all of this now because price has been tested. Oh, hang on, I haven't got the correct H4 on there. I was obviously looking at the top of this. Or have I? No, I have. Apologies, that red candle there, that big shooting star now, or inverse hammer, is the one that did the business. Let's just look at the high on that. High was 12813. Yeah, and there's the level there, 12813. Crazy. That's the precision of how I understand, and all my training, as it were, has taught me to understand. And notice when we filled all those levels in, look at that clear air there that I talked about in part 1. That's why I was so happy, and that's why it's important, in my opinion, to be able to draw these levels in, and just believe in them. And then you'll know where you're going to get problems below you. And remember, resistance acts as support, because it is price broken. Come down to test it, and then it continues. And as the years go by, you will hopefully understand that yourselves. It takes time and chart time, but it's worth the effort, guys, believe me. And I'm loving this indicator, this moving average. The 96 on the 5 is the 8 on the hourly. It is just incredible how price respects it. On this 1 minute chart, it's the 480. It should be, yeah. And you can test out how these indicators work. There's the line on that level there, these increments work, and it will always be roughly at the same place if you've got your calculations right. Notice the MA is always at that point where that brown highlighted support and resistance level is, and then H1, harder to see, I know, behind this mess, but I've apologised for that already. It's there, spot on. So that's it, guys. That's the importance of drawing the levels for me. It's a leveler, excuse the pun, in the morning. It just gets me in the zone, and then you've made a plan. You make a new plan every day, and hopefully then you trade the plan, and trading like this becomes clockwork. That's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Oh, and if I haven't mentioned it before, the reason I'm making these videos now is because I've been dog sitting for a trader friend of mine, which entails house sitting as well, and got a superb broadband upload speed, so I'm munching away at his broadband every day at the moment, but that will end in a couple of days. Alright, thank you for watching, have a great day.